What is up, guys and girls? I'm Justin Omoe, and today I'm going to talk about a keyboard that just came out. And no, I don't have the keyboard because, no. But seriously, I see Novation and Imageline came out with a dedicated keyboard for FL Studio. It's called the FL Key 37, and honestly, I am not impressed with it. I don't like it, alright? And this is coming from a perspective of, I already own a keyboard. You know, there. So why am I not impressed with this keyboard overall, okay? This keyboard just came out like rabbits on my YouTube feed when I, search FL Studio, I guess. I don't know, but it just pops up. But all of these videos have something in common, all right? Maybe Novation told them this word, maybe, unless it's just a coincidence, but they keep trying to advertise the words of, you don't need to use your mouse to be able to create anymore.
Controls on the keyboard, because it's just one less thing you have to go over to your mouse or your keyboard for.
Quickly, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't touched the mouse or keyboard at all since starting.
That's something I've struggled with from time to time. Sometimes when you're using the software, you're just, on a keyboard with a mouse.
This is such a dumb, oh, you don't have to use your mouse anymore. I hate hearing that. If you didn't know, FL Studio actually got another device, the first one actually, called the Akai FL Studio Fire. And this thing is so fire that I have two of them and I love them, okay? All you gotta do is put a little bit of duct tape and then just attach them and they work together just like that. It's a miracle. Okay, I was lying about the duct tape part. But a device like this, it's so standalone and it has one objective. Let's go ahead and take a look at this keyboard again just to give you a better visualization. We have buttons like the preset up and down that works in the VST to be able to go up and down in a preset. What improvement does it have? You could just go up there with your mouse, left click, or left click, preset back, preset forward, you're good. So I don't really see an improvement there. I just see it as a macro key on your keyboard. I mean, that's really what it is, right? We have 8 knobs at the top here, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 knobs. I guess they're kind of contemplating using this or integrating this perfectly with the Flex plugin. This is probably the only thing I like about the keyboard, the way those knobs look, because it really resembles the knobs in the channel rack. But other than looks, I don't see much of a value for these knobs. Why? Because most of the VST plugins have more than 8 knobs you have to use to function. Citrus, Harmor, you can see there's knobs everywhere. These 8 knobs, it just gives you limitations in my opinion. There's only 8 parameters you really got to play around and tweak around with, when the plugin probably has like 25, 60, 150,000. But I see just quick 8 knobs. I see it more like a, hey, I could draft this sound down and cool. Either way, you are going to have one hand off of the keyboard. When you're pressing keys, it's going to be on the knob. It could be on the mouse right there. No problem. Now the thing about the mixer, you may think, oh, that's great, that's cool, you can skim left and right on the mixer. I think you can use the knobs on the keyboard to be able to adjust those 8 banks, the volumes, or perhaps it pans or something. When it comes to mixer devices or mixer faders, this is something that you would rather play with your fingers on actual faders, such as the Icon platform. But being able to utilize a mixer with the keyboard is just another one of those stands like, oh, you don't have to use your mouse no more. Channel rack up and down, remember that they sold this device way before, so people who already have FL Studio probably got one of these babies right here. This is the channel rack, literally. This scroll right here, same thing as channel rack up and down on the keyboard. But the keyboard works a little bit like the Akai Fire when it comes to those pads. It's just you have to change it into some certain way, and also there's just 2 rows. So a little bit less creativity there when it comes to that. At least you could tap on the keyboard where you want the sounds to sound. Speaking of which, they have an option of, hey, you could play multiples, repeat, note repeat. Where is it? I don't even know where on the keyboard you press for that. Is it really something useful in terms of creating? Right click, fill each 2 steps, fill each 4 steps. I feel like you have more of a burden clicking the note repeat, then recording your little piece on the melody, and then undoing the note repeat. I feel like that's a lot more work to do. The whole thing about using the pads as a drum pad, the homie Michael in the mix, he kind of said, oh, it used to take 5 minutes to set up the FLP.
Here I have selected the FPC drum machine. Now this used to take about 5 minutes to set up.
Map notes for entire bank. Boom. So I don't know how you trying to sell that part off, man. Come on, man. You know it. You bullshitting on that. I mean, yeah, you can use it as drum pads, but guess what? Every other keyboard in the world got drum pads on it. I don't see that part as a selling feature for those who already has keyboards. The transport section, it's interesting. In the score log, lets you dump score that you've been playing for 5 minutes, just like how you would go into the macros or something like that and dump the log right there with 2 clicks of the mouse. Nobody really uses that option too much, right? I mean, unless you're trying to create a melody in the beginning and you don't have that great head when it comes to the theory of music or sight and ear or whatever it may be. Maybe you just forgot the thing and then you're like, click that button. I personally never use that score log button in my life. I mean, for examples, yeah. In practical uses, not really. Interestingly enough, they have 2 buttons for undo and redo. Where, you know, in the computer, if you press Control Z, you undo. If you press Control Z again, you redo. How about you combine them into one button? Undo, redo, undo, redo. I know it's stupid, but some people like to do that as a A-B comparison in terms of some things, right? Why not just have it so you hold the shift button and keep clicking undo, so people who are already familiar with holding Control Alt Z on the keyboard to multiple undo, maybe you could make it like that so it's easier of access, and then you could create a whole new option there for something else that, who knows, you know, what could you benefit from? Let me just take a quick look here. A good idea would be if you switch that redo button and have undo, redo, like I said, but if you click that button for link to controller, that would be tight. Like you tweak a knob in the controller in the VST or whatever, and you use these 8 knobs over here to kind of be like, okay, which one do you want to set it to? You know, that way you just click that instead of going to the top, right clicking the automation knob button and then be like, hey, link to controller. How about you just move it and then click that button, and then you could assign it to something else. I mean, that's just one idea. I can understand why it's there, but just a little suggestion or thought in my head. Metronome, everyone loves a metronome. We don't have to worry about that. The the quantize button though, that's something that I didn't see on video when people talked about it. And maybe it's on the Seamless video, but that thing is 3 hours long. I am not watching that. Sorry, brother. But does a quantize button like automatically quantize the notes to the thing after you perform it, or does it just turn off and on the snap? I tried looking at PDFs for it, but I can't find any, probably because it's a new device. And they're also advertising the chord button. Now the chords, interestingly enough, yeah, what's up with that, right? It's cool. I think it's cool, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh wait, there's a note repeat. I think that's the pro of the keyboard. It's really cool. That way you could click any key and it creates whatever, like an add 7, add 9, a 5th, 11th, whatever it may be. There are plugins that I've seen people advertise before, like the auto chords or something like that, where you press it and it automatically creates these chords. So I see that as a little bit of easy access in terms of, you know, being able to create a chord with a button. Of course, that's for people who just doesn't know the chords itself. So people who don't have the idea for the music theory benefit from it. Ease of access buttons, that's a plus. Okay, I admit that's a plus. But out of everything that I said, that's really the only plus. Everything else just feels like either it's too complicated, it's a little bit limited, or there's no reason to do it, or it's not worth clicking or pressing. That's why, as somebody like me, unless Novation is like, yo, why don't you try out the keyboard, send it to me, then I might have a little change of mind. That's why, to somebody like me who already owns a keyboard, already owns a mixer fader, the Akai Fire is so fire. Please, I'll put that in the description for you to buy if you want. For someone who already owns a keyboard, I don't see any super plus into wanting to upgrade or downgrade in terms of price. Depends on what it is, right, that you have. But to get this keyboard, you know, it's $200. But I mean, $200 is still $200. If you are thinking about risking $200, I wouldn't recommend it on this keyboard. Unless, of course, you're trying to teach other people or trying to pop off on YouTube with a little bit of views or something. You know what I'm saying? But then again, your target audience will be people who wants to know about the keyboard, not you. Of course, this keyboard is something that I would recommend for people who don't have a keyboard whatsoever. So if you just bought FL Studio and you have no keyboard, this is the one that I would recommend for y'all, just because it has the compatibility for FL Studio. But with this, at least you have some controllability over nothing. Now, I'm saying that this keyboard, in my head, does not really bring a outstanding appearance in terms of improving FL Studio as a whole. So you may be wondering, hey, what is something that would be beneficial, right? How about working with Wacom? Yeah, I said it. Wacom. So for those who don't know, Wacom is a tablet, display tablet, and that's what I've been using right here the whole time. But it's a tablet. You're able to see stuff on here. You're able to touch things, move things around. And guess what is something that's troublesome and annoying in FL Studio that you are bound to your mouse by that could do better once you have your hands and fingers on it? The playlist. Anybody and their mom knows that the playlist is one hell of a mouse clicking click fest when it comes to creating your actual song. That's where the song's sounds will be. Why not make that hands-on? Make that something you could touch and drag. They have the, if I hit Alt P on the keyboard, they have the pattern drag and drop. You could make that something hands-free. Hold on, let me, you can make this something hands-free to be able to freely click, drag the playlist or the pattern there. You could be able to, if I were to blow this thing up, you could use it just like this, like, whoop, there's a brush, cool. I mean, you see me doing it here like it's nothing, but what if FL Studio made their own dedicated device for the playlist, and, you know, it's just a display screen, of course, but have some sort of DLC function where some extra shit will happen when you click on things like, let's say the automation, you want to make points of automation straight in the playlist. Let's say you want to big up a playlist track. I'm trying to pinch and zoom on one of them tracks. It kind of worked there, didn't, yeah. Okay, maybe FL Studio could do a better job of this. Let me just show you my nutsack here real quick so you could kind of see what I'm doing. What if you were to pinch and zoom? There's got to be some way to do this. Oh, okay, well, cool. Yeah. What if we have a more hands-on type of device when it comes to creating in the patterns? And hell, maybe this screen could be big. How big? Like big as a brick, like an old monitor screen. Similar to that device called the Raven, for those who've seen it, but, you know, better. But what if we had things like, oh, we want to change the automation, or we want to create points. We're able to touch these points on the screen and create it right there with our hands and make the whole song pretty much from the playlist. I think that would be awesome. And I don't see a reason why it wouldn't work if you use FL Studio, you know, as a touch screen with the playlist. Now, I'm not in the developmental team for FL Studio, so I don't know behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure maybe a keyboard's like, hey, it's a staple for every DAW, so it's kind of a win in that situation there. But I feel like a playlist would be another device that would be super beneficial, similar to like how we have this channel rack right here in our hands. You know how lively I feel creating on the channel rack? I don't think I'll ever have that same feeling if I'm touching it on the keyboard. By the way, those keyboard pads with the hexagon or whatever checkerboard pattern, it looks like an eyesore on video, so I don't know how it looks in person, but I'm not really too fond of that pattern thing there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this device, the FL Key 37. I'd love to know your thoughts about this device in itself. But trust me, when it comes to FL Studio doing improvements and things that people love, they are on it, dog. Have you seen the things FL Studio 12 has to offer? That makes me want to do things I can't say because some people will be mad at me. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I love you. Maybe that'll be another video that I'll talk about for you guys and girls out there who are not in the know of. Thank you for listening. It is your boy, Justin Omoe. With that being said, peace. I'm out. And Novation, if you want to send one over, maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. It's not a bargaining chip, but if you got money to waste, then send it over my way. How about that?